this release, we have a lot of new and exciting features. A huge Zapier upgrade, email improvements, searching in designer dialogs, PDF viewer improvement. With this release comes a big change in the way that you can use Zapier. Instead of working with data change events, we have implemented an action that starts a zap. This means you now have more control over when a zap is started. In this example, we start a zap inside of the flow part when a task status changes. You select the values from the flow part that need to be sent to Zapier. Optionally, you can rename them. And then you specify under which name you want this action to be found in Zapier. Note that you will first need to publish your application before you can use it in Zapier. Once you have published your application, you can connect it to Zapier the same way you did before, using the username and password found in your application settings. The big change is the way the Triggre works within Zapier. There's only one event, called Zapier Action, referring to the Zapier action in your flow part. Now you see a list of all the Zapier actions that you've created in your application, including the name you gave the action. For example, here the action Task Status Changed has been selected. You can use all of the properties that you've selected in the action in the Triggre Designer right here. For this action, we define subject and new status as the properties. For actions, the only change is that the outputs are now easier to recognize since they have exactly the same name as the outputs in Triggre. We no longer show the internal IDs for these. The second feature is a change in the allowed email addresses to send from in your applications. Google and other major email vendors have tightened their spam policies, and as such, we have implemented a few changes to limit the probability your mails get marked as spam. The change here is in the from address. You are now only allowed to send emails from noreply@triggre.net instead of @triggre.com. This is because the email domain should be the same as where your application is hosted. In your application settings, you can specify a custom domain to host your application on, including an email domain. If you have specified those settings, you can also use that domain here. If you use any other domain name or any other email address than noreply@triggre.net or your own email domain name, your email will not be sent. The third feature in this release is the ability to search in dialogs in the designer. For example, here, where there is a choice of many flow parts. Click the search button or simply start typing to search. The search results always include the selected item, so you can easily see what you are about to change. Click the search button again to close the search or press escape. And last but not least, we've improved the way that you can use the PDF viewer, which can now be used in stacked pages instead of only as a whole block.